It was after a career spent helping companies try to work out how to grow, how to position themselves for profitable growth, and then realizing that for many companies that was extremely difficult, and a lot of them did it quite badly. And a series of conversations between myself and other colleagues that had had similar careers to me led to some thoughts that we thought maybe this could be the content for a book. So we sat down, worked a few ideas out, and then I worked out a draft, sent it around some publishers, and found some interest. And then once there was some interest, it was then quite easy to actually go from that original idea to actually writing the book. But it was really an attempt to say, well, all the things that I've learned over my career in business, is there not a way that I could share with others and sort of help them to become better at growing profitably? Probably, I would say one of the biggest risks that I've taken was when I was working in Hong Kong for Park and Shop, and we made a decision to try to bring fresh food inside our supermarket. So we were trying to bring wet market fresh food into a Western supermarket environment. To do that, we had to invent a whole new type of store, superstores. We had to learn how to sell fresh food like wet market operators, but add supermarket standards of hygiene to it. That was very difficult, very risky, very expensive for the business, very risky, but ultimately led to Park and Shop becoming very popular and in fact the #1 choice in Hong Kong. So that was a big risk, but it paid off. I think there are 3 fundamental things you need to be able to do. I think the first thing is you have to be great at understanding consumers. Part of that is mastering all the tools and techniques of research, including the new neuroscience-based implicit tools that so many businesses miss. But part of it is intuitive as well. You've just got to be the sort of person that has a feel for how consumers work. So that's the first thing, great at understanding consumers. The second thing, I think you've got to be really good at strategy. So it's no good understanding consumers in isolation. You've got to be good at understanding how do I turn this into a strategy that can be profitable for my business and, and do that cost effectively. And the third thing is you've got to be a good leader. You've got to be able to take that consumer knowledge, take that strategic vision and persuade others in your company to follow it. So that's about leadership skills. So I think those 3 things are great consumer understanding, great strategic ability and real leadership qualities. If you do those things, in my opinion, you'll be a great CMO.
Well, probably the bravest risk I've taken is moving out of corporate life to start my own business. So I've been marketing director in some big multinational businesses. I had a CEO job when I was in the UK. And I left all that to start my own branded business from scratch, buying and selling traditional British brands. And that took me out in the end to markets in the Far East. I sold that business to private equity in the UK. And I've been out in Hong Kong for the last 6 or 7 years. So that was probably the bravest decision. But thankfully, yes, it did pay off. And I'm now consulting in Hong Kong based on a lot of that experience from multinationals and from my own startup. But it was pretty scary at the time. Biggest thing I encourage young people to think about and to demonstrate is curiosity. I think the world is so complex. Digital technologies and automation is changing so much how consumers behave, how they interact with media, that you have to be forever curious, forever learning. And I think if you have that curiosity, that'll mean you're always understanding consumers, you're always understanding about new markets and new media approaches. And if you can harness that understanding and then build ideas and plans and actions or strategies around that curiosity, that's the key to success.